Watch Human Centipede with me. Tom Six created this movie because he was thinking about an apt punishment for someone that abuses a child, and he decided that the best thing would be to sew their mouth to the anus of a fat truck driver, which would probably make their job quite difficult. But Human Centipede is also produced by Tom Six's sister, Ilona Six. The opening shot, we see Dr. Joseph Hayter watching as a truck driver goes to relieve himself in the woods. He takes out a tranquilizer gun and shoots the truck driver, kidnapping him. Dieter Laser is a German actor who got into acting at age 18. He's done films in English and German. He's a very interesting man. This is his first horror movie, which I'll probably watch the rest of his movies because I really love his acting, but I was surprised that this is his first horror just because it feels so natural to him. To prepare for the movie, he didn't speak much to, if at all, to the three main actors, and this has also been done in the movie Possum. In the movie Possum, they weren't allowed to talk to each other at all, so that the man and his uncle would feel like they have no chemistry, and it worked. They felt like complete strangers. It was incredibly uncomfortable. Another aspect of his preparation for the role is meditative. He says, and I quote, "My preparation is very simple. I sit from 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning in my kitchen at home while my wife is still sleeping, and I just read with a liter of coffee, a liter of black tea, a liter of green tea. I just read and read again the script and meditate in the fresh new morning about the part of the character and nothing else. There's only the script, the director, and me. I don't want to watch out for other actors, how they would play this character, or what have I seen, characters like him. I want to create him out of myself, out of the spirit of the script, and out of the thought of the director. That is my preparation and nothing else." He has said that he does view Dr. Hayter as akin to Dr. Joseph Mengele. Actually, sorry, that might have been Tom Six. Because I know that Dr. Hayter is named after Joseph Mengele, hence his first name being Joseph. Dieter Laser says that they view people the same way. Um, Mengele also had a fixation on twins, which you see in Dr. Hayter. Dieter Laser has also a couple times referred to Dr. Hayter as an angel of death, which was the nickname of Dr. Mengele, although the nickname is way too cool for a idiot lunatic. But he would also describe Mengele as a lunatic. He talks about Nazis like they're just complete idiots anyway, which I respect. Dieter Laser's father was an SS officer. He has expressed many times how the idea of growing up in a fascist regime is absolutely terrifying to him. And it does show in the way that he plays this character and the way he speaks about Nazis. And it is really interesting to hear someone talk about the Second World War when they are so closely attached to it. He has said that it scares him the person that he would have had to become if he did live in that world. And so the hatred he has is very personal and it's a lot more real than the hatred someone would have that is more objective. I know he acted in another film that was focused on Nazis, and I can't find much other interviews of him. I think I've read every interview I could of him talking about Nazis. um, and every interview of him talking about Dr. Hayato. Um, and I wish I could know like more about why he felt such a pull to act as the people that he so personally and so vehemently opposes. I think that would be very interesting. He has said that he would, if it happened, act in a Human Centipede Ultimate sequence, which is absolutely heartbreaking because he passed away in 2020 and the causes haven't been released. He was. We see the two main girls planning their trip while they're on vacation. This is Ashlyn Yenny's first movie, and both of the girls I did see in Amanda the Jedi's video that they were cast specifically because they could show emotion through the eyes. The girls wind up stranded in the middle of the night in a strange place, and that is terrifying to them, and they're both fighting over who has to get out of the vehicle and go look for help, even though it would make most sense to do it together. But what solidifies their terror is a complete piece of shit pulling up beside them and sexually harassing them. The guy reveals that the both of them are adult film stars and they've starred in movies together. When they do get out, they find the doctor's house very quickly. He lets them in and he asks them if they're related, and he's very obviously disappointed that they're not. We get a shot of the women sitting before a painting that was actually painted by Tom Six. The painting is of two twins, and it is a homage to Mengele. Dr. Hayato drugs both of the women. One of them falls unconscious long before the other, and she tries to escape, but the drugs end up taking their effect on her. And they both wake up on tables, on metal surgical tables. Dr. Hayato kills the truck driver because he isn't compatible with the two of them. And so he goes and he kidnaps Katsuro. Katsuro is a Japanese man. He only speaks Japanese, while the women only speak English. And that's also a really interesting element of the story. As it goes on, they end up understanding each other. They can also kind of just communicate through like grunting, which I have spoken to people that don't speak English, and I only speak English, and it is surprising how quickly you can understand each other. It's really cool. Dr. Hayato starts to explain his credentials. I promise you no one gives a fuck. They're about to be sewn ass to mouth. They do not care if you know what you're doing, my child. And then he explains what's going to happen, and naturally, the three of them lose their ever loving minds. While Dr. Hayato leaves to get them prepped, Lindsay escapes. Dr. Hayato chases her, and she ends up in a pool. And one really sad thing about this movie is that they couldn't get the heating to work, and so her shivering, that's real. She does escape him. She ends up going back for Jenny, and that is so frustrating because she could have easily gotten away on two occasions. First one when he is banging on the door and for some reason she lets herself be known to him and starts yelling at him that he's insane and that he needs help. Did you think this was going to get through to him? Because it wasn't, and it didn't. You ended up a centipede anyway. She could have easily broken a window and gunned it. She also could have left Jenny because Jenny's unconscious. She's only dead weight, and she could have ran to get anyone, even if even if he had begun to make the Human Centipede. It's better than the three of you becoming the Human Centipede. Like it's better to wake up with like your ankles completely fucked than all of that happening. It is possible that I am being a dick because the effects of the drugs are still weighing on her, and she's in panic and she's in shock. It's still frustrating though. Dr. Hayatar explains to her that when he had begun the first centipede using dogs, the one that ended up being the middle bit him, and that's why he made that dog the middle. And now she will be the middle. He does catch her as she's running through his backyard, and he shoots her with his tranquilizer gun, and he does make her the middle. We get a long set of shots of him training the centipede like dogs.
Good boy. Come. Yeah, come. And let's walk a little bit at least. Attention.
Later, we have a checkup, and this is the absolute worst scene because he goes to Jenny. Jenny is the tail, and he digs his finger into the staple and pulls out pus and smells it, and the smelling was improv. That didn't need to happen. None of this needed to happen. But it's, I hate it. I hate it so much. Pus is 1,000 times more disgusting than shit. I don't care. It's 1,000 times more disgusting. I absolutely hate it. I hate that. I hate that this scene exists. I hate that I watched it. I hate it. It's the police call, and this bit is kind of funny. Once he picks up, all of them start screaming, and he's just kind of like, it's a bit funny, honestly. The police warn him that they're coming over, and then once he hangs up, they start screaming again, which, why not? Dr. Hayatar invites the police in and offers them water. And I don't know if, well, I'd imagine that the basement is probably soundproof, but when we see the centipede again, they're not screaming. I It would make sense to be screaming at this point. Anyway, the cops are questioning him about screaming that was heard on his property, and they had saw his vehicle in, I think, the place where Katsura was kidnapped. I think. And Dr. Hayatar loses his absolute shit. All decorum is absolutely gone as he is having a full blown meltdown. I couldn't find anything about if they can just search the house once they're invited in. Um, the movie takes place in Germany, and basically, German police, if they feel that someone is in imminent danger, and if the time it would take to get a warrant is going to give the perpetrator time to either A, hurt someone, kill someone, or destroy evidence, then they can perform a search without a warrant. And I feel like they probably could have in this situation. Dr. Hayatar comes down from his lunatic outburst and he excuses himself to get, I think, a towel, but he's getting a sedative. Now, before he even goes down into the basement, Katsura plans with the girls to get a scalpel. Which this is a really good scene because it is interesting to watch them work together when they're still learning how to use their body and maneuver despite the pain of healing and the limited visibility and the fact that they all have to move in tandem. And also, they don't all speak the same language, but they end up getting a scalpel. Katsura ends up getting a scalpel. Dr. Hayato gets the police to leave without using the sedative. When he returns to the Centipede, he finds that they're gone. But turning a corner, Katsura stabs Dr. Hayato in the foot with the scalpel. He then stabs him in the upper shin, and then while Dr. Hayato is on the ground, Katsura sinks his teeth into his neck, which, after all that happened, I feel that's still an underreaction. The Centipede make their way up the stairs, and once they're at the top, the doc wakes up. Dr. Hayato chases them up the stairs, stopping to lick blood off one of the stairs in another scene that is absolutely disgusting and absolutely improv. I hate improv now with a bleeding passion. Improv is the worst thing that's ever been created. Dr. Hayato catches them. Katsuro talks about how he has done bad things. He is a worthless person, but he is not an animal, and he's being treated as an animal. And Dr. Hayato is seeing himself as a god. He is not a god. And then Katsuro takes a piece of glass, and the cops come back with a search warrant, and they end up in a standoff at the pool. Dr. Hayato kills one of the cops, and as another one is dying, he shoots Dr. Hayato between the eyes. Lindsay holds Jenny's hand as she's dying. Her body is completely white, and it is something that is incredibly unsettling. And as she's dying, the camera pans up to the morning light and birds in the distance. First and foremost, this would not happen. It is stated that it is 100% medically accurate, but that more so means that you can construct this, not that it would last. Probably not even during surgery. Um, it is funny to think about the surgeon that Tom Six contacted because at first he didn't want anything to do with it. And Tom Six was probably thinking, yeah, I'm not just going to keep contacting surgeons because none of them are going to want to do this. So I'm just going to get this guy in on this. And I don't know how he talked someone into doing this with him. According to Medical Daily, it isn't even likely that the three would even survive the surgery. People think of anesthesia as something that you give someone and then they're just out and that's fine. An anesthesiologist, it, they have a very, very involved job. And also, you have to take into account that a surgery on one person takes an entire team, and it is still hours of work. And Dr. Hayato is one man operating on three people that are going to react differently to anesthesia if he's using anesthesia. They're going to react differently to any drug, and they're all going to heal differently. Medical Daily also states that they wouldn't realistically be able to do anything. They wouldn't be able to follow orders. They definitely wouldn't have been able to plan an escape because they would have been paralyzed in agony. The article also points out the issue of vomit, that it would be aspirated because obviously if shit enters your mouth, you're probably going to vomit. And this is happening multiple times a day, so they are going to vomit. And it has nowhere to go. It is going to be aspirated eventually, if not the very first time. I feel like Dr. Hayato would have accounted for this because he is a lunatic, but he is very intelligent. Um, and I feel like you could put a hole into someone's cheek so that you could flush out the vomit, but that would also get infected probably almost immediately in record time. So you can ignore me on that. Medical Daily also points out that the centipede isn't given any time to heal, so the staples would have definitely dislodged. I feel like you could make a spin-off of this in with the idea of one digestive tract. It would take like a lot of fucking with the bodies, though. Like it would be a lot more complicated than just ass to mouth. Just I feel like you could go even further to possibly make a human centipede that would realistically last like maybe a week or so. That's just me rambling, though. I don't know, and I'm not a doctor, and I'm probably wrong. Thinking about it now, I am wrong. Anyway, this movie is more of a demented comedy. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. It's at its funniest if you've seen it and your friend knows nothing about it and you make them watch it. That's hilarious. It's also it's really really sweet how the cast and crew talk about each other and the film. They speak so highly of the film and they talk about each other with such reverence that it is touching and it is very very sweet. But then you take into account the movie that they're talking about, and it's kind of hilarious. But I definitely believe that the making of some bullshit like this is what would create a lifelong friendship. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm planning on doing these like maybe a couple times a week. And yeah, bye.